In the German-speaking world, Peregrinus Tyss is an enigma, known for writing 2 books in German between 1928 and 1931, and that's it. Even Robert and Bloch apparently has no idea who he was. While in the Czech Republic, his identity had been seemingly uncovered since 1997, when Milan Dušek wrote an article for Literární noviny. The man, according to Dušek, due to his discovery of an old photograph bearing his real name and his pseudonym, was Peregrin Fischer, born in Brno in 1891, the son of lawyer Peregrin Fischer and Josefina Czaderska. In 1919 he married Ludmila Samohrdová. He was a member of the diplomatic service of Czechoslovakia since 1920. He served at the embassy in Hungary until 1939. In 1948 he was named ambassador to Romania, but was recalled in 1949. He died in 1982. The reason for his pseudonym, using a pseudonym to pose as a character from E.T.A. Hoffmann, seemed to be his critical views of Czechoslovakia and the new era, following the dissolution of Austria-Hungary, opinions he most likely hid because of his diplomatic career. We will review his 1928 Gorgyra. The title story, the best story in the book, concerns the narrator who was just released from hospital after many years and wants to avoid his family at all costs. He wanders around Prague, where he bribes his way to stand alone atop ancient towers and amid empty churches, until he meets a strange, old-fashioned young woman named Gorgyra, who has knowledge of all the ancient corners of the city, and whom he falls in love with, and who would rather not say anything about herself and would not allow the narrator to accompany her home. Then one day he follows her and sees that the place is a morgue. Pilatus is the story of an executioner during World War I, who is to put a man to death after advocating against the war among the Jews. The narrator had put countless people to death, but he tries to find a reason not to execute this man, before going into a long-winded philosophical diatribe and ending up thinking he is Pontius Pilate. Atlantis begins with a professor advocating his plan to send a rocket to the moon, countering his opponents by bringing up all the arguments brought up by eminent experts in the past to conclusively prove that trains could never move and that there's no such thing as asteroids. However, one of the projectiles shot at the moon falls back to Earth, decimating the European continent, then taken over by a murderous Luddite sect from Russia, dragging humanity into the Dark Ages, while the entirety of the American continent sinks underwater, and many thousands of years later is considered a myth. The apocalyptic part of the story is good, but the sarcastic finale where a professor from Timbuktu proves America is Atlantis drags the whole thing down. The last story, Succubus, is not good. Framed as the coded letters of 2 Rosicrucians, Dr. Jakob Fatsis and Dr. Fronius, the latter being obsessed with a strange domineering woman named Eva Hute, and has a strange fascination for her poodle, trying to find out what exalted soul will be reincarnated in it, writing the dog letters and calling himself its colleague. One cannot but side with Eva here just a bit. She gets him a good position at a bank from another man she's leading on before said man kills himself, but one night Fronius and her have an argument and she kicks him out, then keeps sending him naked pictures of herself, and abusing her poodle. So he has someone knock her out, steal the dog back, and then dies. The story is so slow and full of metaphysical and phrenological waffle.